Suspected armed bandits last Friday abducted over 150 persons, mostly women and children, in Maru local government area of Zamfara state. The bandits also killed some persons during the operation, which lasted for hours, according to reports by residents. Barely a week before last Friday's attack, the bandits had abducted 17 persons in ruined Orawa village of the same local government area. It was learned that some of the villages the bandits attacked are Mutunji, Kwanar Dutse, Sabangarin Mahuta, and Ungwarkao villages during the operation. Residents narrated that the terrorists had stormed the affected villages around 9 p.m. on Friday and carried out the operation in all 4 villages simultaneously. Viewers, the security situation in Zamfara, across the north and by extension Nigeria, will once again be the fulcrum of tonight's conversation. And to discuss these issues in more detail, I'm joined virtually by Professor Tukur Baba. He is the Dean, Faculty of Social and Management Sciences, Federal University, Birnin Kebbi. He is also the spokesperson of the Pan-Northern Nigerian Group, the Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF. He joins us, as I said, virtually from Birnin Kebbi in Kebbi State. Prof, welcome to Daily Politics.
Thank you so very much. I'm happy to be here.
All right, and we'll take a short break. As soon as we return, the conversation with Prof commences. Don't go away. Welcome back. Yes, Prof, what was your response when you heard of the mass abduction of children and women, of course, breadwinners also, in Maru local government last Friday, over 150 of them?
My immediate reaction was one of frustration and exasperation. I mean, you see, I asked myself, when will this end? Just a week before then, I had described the situation in a forum. I had described the situation in northern Nigeria as insecurity on the rampage, insecurity on the loose. I mean, this thing is expanding. The problem keeps expanding, and it tells me that either there is unwillingness or there is incapacity to deal with the problem of both. I mean, even if you are moving 100 chicken from one village, that is a lot of living souls, let alone 100 men, women, and children from their villages to unknown places in the bush. When you think about it, not just the impact of leaving your husband, but living somewhere in a group of 100 people or more, most probably more, in the bush with no facilities whatsoever. I mean, put yourself in their position. This is an extremely disturbing situation. And for me, more tragic is the fact that there is obviously no plan on ground to deal with this problem decisively. That's why it keeps expanding. That's why the bandits are getting more and more emboldened. They could do what they like. I mean, the report of the former Inspector General to the former governor of Zamfara State, that as of 2019, I think, or 2018, these bandits have collected over 30 billion naira, I think, in extortion as ransom payments from villagers. You see, Zamfara State in particular is famed as a farming state. At the best of times, people, the farmers, are at the lowest bottom of social economic stratification in the country. I mean, it's one of the poorest regions of the country, and you are squeezing money out of them. It's tragic. We're not even talking yet of the human cost. So I ask myself, what is the government doing? What is anybody concerned? The elites, everyone, nobody is even talking about it at a serious level. The federal government has announced no plan, no strategic plan for dealing with the problem. So you can see my frustration. Where are we going? I ask myself, is it not a sign that this country is slowing down, coming to a standstill? I mean, what more evidence do you need of a failed state syndrome? That villagers who at the best of time have nothing, or rather they haven't got much to live with, are abducted at random like this, as if you would just go into town and buy 100 loaves of bread and just go. I mean, this is incredible. It's very, very, very sad. Like I said, it shows the government is either not serious, they have no plans, or the security agencies themselves are not ready to deal with this problem. They don't have plans for it. They have no answer. And what does it tell us? We are gradually sliding into a state of anarchy. After the villagers will be all travelers on the road. Parts of Zamfara roads have been closed down. I mean, you travel from Talata Mafara to Kauranda Moda at your own risk. You travel from Sheme to Dai on the way to Kano at your own risk. Virtually, these roads are closed because people don't follow it. It's highly risky. It's been overtaken by bandits. So as these things are expanding, it goes beyond Zamfara, comes into Eastern Sokoto, Niger State, to the east. It's not too long ago that 30 farmers were slaughtered in the northeast. So what can you say? We have been gradually taken over by insecurity.
And that's why we were compelled to actually invite you, because you understand that area. I want to ask, is Maru so forested that over 150 people will disappear? It's so forested that they cannot be seen even through aerial reconnaissance and all that?
My answer is no. We are talking of the almost Sahel region. These are areas that have been deforested by human activities, firewood, expanding farming, infrastructure. I mean, even if you have forest, there must be pockets of forest. And then this time of the year is not the rainy season. So the forest, even if there was any pocket, if there is any pocket, does not have a lot of foliage because they have fallen because of the dry season. To say that they cannot be seen, it's not convincing. But even then, let's go back. Even without modern equipment, drones and others, we have on ground human security. I can bet you that the traditional rulers in those areas, if you take the chain from the emir to the village head to the Meangwa, they know every inch of that territory. And I can bet you, they know every person, every spot where human beings are living. There's a traditional intelligence to that effect. It's the failure to harness, failure to use that intelligence. I mean, every village head in the north, every ward head or Meangwa, every area is aware of who is in their territory, where they are. They can tell you the number of villages in the district. They can tell you the number of houses in the community. They know everything, but they are powerless. I was talking to a traditional ruler from Zamfara State who told me, he said, you see, we are living with these things on a daily basis. Nobody seems to know. They will come to the village in the daytime or any time of the day, pick as many women and especially girls as they want to. They go away with them, and then they bring them back the next day. They go to the next village, pick them, sleep with them, and take them back in. What can you do? They come with lethal weapons. I mean, can anything be more humiliating? Someone comes in the middle of the day or at 6 o'clock in the morning, takes your young daughter away. There's nothing you can do. Bring them back in the morning. You know what happened. What more What further humiliation can you subject a human being to? What humiliation do you want to place on a mother who sees her daughter being taken away and brought back the next day? Or in fact, they take the daughter and the mother together. Come on. I mean, it's as if our leaders don't have ears. I mean, I ask myself, is anybody passing this report through? Why is it that we have to go? When I spoke to the traditional ruler, I mean, I was numb. Said, this is a reality that we live with in Zamfara state. So who knows? Are you telling me that at the local government level, at the village level, there are no agents of the security services? They don't know what is going on? Are they not passing reports? Is anybody acting on the report? Does anybody imagine the psychological impact of such state of siege on the people? You would think about it. What does it do to the mentality? The psychological trauma is better imagined than actually stated. I mean, I am not talking fiction. I am telling you what's happening daily. One village after another, this is what is happening. Bandits will come, ransack the village, check whatever food they can, carry as many women as possible, which are not even reported.
Yes, and this brings me to the question. Are our leaders keeping tab on some of these things? Because it's like we have forgotten about the girls abducted from Federal University, Gusau. Now,
So who are still in the bush?
yes, where is the problem from? Nobody is even talking about those girls anymore.
The problem is political, as they say in Cuba, parapolitical. It's the inaction of the political authorities from top to bottom. If you want me to expand it, I will say elites, especially the political elites from that part of the country. I don't hear a lot, if anybody talking about it. It's as if we are playing domino with the people's lives. And nobody seems to care. That's one. The other thing is the arrangement we have in the country for dealing with security issues. Constitutionally, I mean, the most effective legal security apparatus is in the hands of the federal government that could deploy and redeploy. At the local, at the state level, the governor is the chief security officer of the state. All the governor can do is to have meetings and meetings and meetings and have the various heads of security agencies, DSS, army, police, civil defense, or whoever, just report to the masters in Abuja. I mean, Abuja is far removed from the villages of Talata Mafara, from the villages of Maru, from the villages of all other villages around, from the villages of Chafe. I am talking of Yandoto, I'm talking of Yankuzo, and so on. This, I mean, insecurity siege has become a way of life of those people, and we sit down and blame them for paying tax to bandits, illiterate bandits, just a band of illiterate people that impose tax on villagers. So what do? You have to pay the tax in order to have the little peace of mind that you want. You cannot go to the farm. They kill, they abduct. You cannot harvest your crop, where even if you are able to do that, they kill, they abduct, or they in fact set fire to the farm before you harvest. I mean, it's like taking ice cream out of the mouth of a baby. Let's not even say ice cream, because that's a luxury. It's like plucking a baby away from the mother that is breastfeeding. So everything is coming to a standstill. Now, human beings being what we are, they have to find a way out. One of the way out is, if government cannot come to their aid, if nobody is coming, you reach peace with the abductors. You pay them, but there's the other part that they don't sell. That is to say, they will not stop carrying women and girls into the bush to assault them. Even if you pay, at best they allow you to go to the farm. At best they force you to farm for them, and so on. But they come at will. And you know, some of the small teenagers that work for these people are there for the sexual pleasure. I mean, it's not nice talking about it. I don't feel good at all. I don't feel good at all. But it's a reality some of us that are on ground deal with. It's a reality we know that is happening. So the most part of the country, they don't know. Investigative reporting by the press, conventional press, is inadequate. I would prefer to see people reporting these incidents, although it is humiliating to the villagers. You cannot call out villages, specific villages, but I can assure you this is what is happening. Whether the government knows it or not, whether the government officials admit it or not, whether the federal government receives the report or not about it, this issues, this situation is what has been on ground. And nobody seems to be doing anything about it. I was talking at a conference, a seminar, and I said the most frightening thing about what is going on is that there is no plan on ground to confront the issue head-long. What does it tell me? It will not only go on, it will expand. So that my conclusion is it will get worse before it gets better, if there is any chance that it is get better. It's as if security-wise, the country is coming to a standstill. At least these banditry prone areas for them is as if the world is coming to a standstill, and we're gradually sliding into anarchy, so that there is nothing you can do but give in to terrorists. It's very sad. I know it's not pleasant, but this is what is going on, and the world must hear about it. And this is not what is going on. What is not going on is there is no evidence of effective, strategic, coordinated plans to deal with the situation. It's unfortunate.
Yes, Prof, you made mention of staggering over 30 billion, estimated to have been collected by the bandits or terrorists. But the curious observer will ask this question, that if you see them whenever they are arrested, you don't see money, you don't even see the good shirt. So who is actually profiting from this? Do they look hungry, emaciated?
Well, at the very least, it will tell you that this is a coordinated terrorist activity going on. There must be a chain of people who are feeding into this misbegotten industry. There are those who supply information to the bandits. There are those who sell weapons, or the purveyors of weapons for and across the borders. There are those who sit down and do nothing. There are those who are ineffective. And there are many others who are benefiting from it. Probably the resources we're throwing at the problem is being diverted. You see, we have at the level of conventional security, we have reshuffled from the top security chiefs of security, arms of the security service. That is not a reshuffling, it's not an issue. Do we have a strategy on ground to deal with that? That is always my question. If there is a national strategy against banditry and terrorism, what is it? What do we plan to do? How do we plan to tackle it? Well, granted, the thing is multifaceted. Okay, a 2022 report by the Center for Democracy and Development said about 12,000 people have been killed in the Northwest. 1 million people have been displaced. 1 million children have been rendered out of school. We are not talking of widows. Okay, we are not talking of the collapse of health services. We are not talking of the internally displaced people. that are everywhere in the streets of cities. Sokoto, Gusau, Talata, Mafara, Maru, and other places. You go and see women and children walking barefooted, asking, speak to any of them. Please help me in Hausa. Where are your parents? My father has been killed. Where is your mother? She's there waiting for us at the bottom of the bridge or somewhere in front of a store. It's what we get from begging that. I mean, you see, to me, this problem unsolved is also feeding the emergence of another industry, antisocial behavior. The way, I mean, we put these women and children up for sexual exploitation. Not only that, we put out a lot of people out of village, but who stays there? I mean, food production, you name it, environmental degradation, there is all kinds of things. Increasing tension, intercommunal tension that is becoming, unfortunately, ethnic. For people who have lived together for centuries, all of a sudden, you are discovering differences. I mean, it doesn't take, it's not rocket science to know that we're headed for trouble. We're headed for trouble unless a state of emergency is declared against these bandits.
A few days ago, Prof, we saw the Minister of Defense State, who is former governor of Zamfara State, driving, covered by armored, personnel carriers, and a lot of security around, heading to his local government. What is the import of that kind of movement by the Minister of Defense going back home, but covered completely with APCs and other rocket launchers and all that?
If you want to see a display of obscene provocation by elites in our society, don't go beyond that. I was horrified. I was scandalized to see such obscenity going on for whatever reason, by whosoever. I mean, for God's sake, if we can't do anything about the plight of these people, because the problem, admittedly, is more complex than we think, the least we can do is not to engage in such provocative and obscene display of, I don't care. I mean, I don't want to say more because it involves the minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But come on, that was scandalous. Come on, that was obscene.
Some people are already.
What was the purpose?
Some people are already.
What was the purpose? What was that display for? Is it Hollywood? Is it Kannywood? Is it Bollywood? I mean, what is it? Oh, come on. Anyway, don't take me along that route, because really, I was furious. I was furious. And I wonder what kind of person would be that insensitive as to film and display that. Even more scandalous, I saw people in town hailing that spectacle. Okay, these are people living in poverty, people living in problems, so they see this, and it's entertainment. But it's very sad. It's very, very sad. And I hope whoever is involved will have moments of introspection, reflect on exactly what they have done, reflect on the situation, and be remorseful about it. Hopefully, the least they can do is to be remorseful. I hope we never see this kind of obscenity again. That was below the belt. I mean, what can you say? It happened.
Yes.
Right before our eyes.
Prof, here in
you can imagine the resources expended on that visual presentation. Just visual presentation. Oh, come on. Anyway, let's go on. It's sad.
Here in Daily Trust, we're actually fixated with Zamfara because of the level of attacks, the frequency at which people are being killed with impunity. But this is a state that is said to be one of the richest in terms of the metrics.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about gold. And there was this claim that they have banned, you know, mining of gold in Zambia.
Mining.
Yes,
Yeah.
so we have conducted many investigations, and we realized that high-profile people are still doing this mining while the people are living in poverty. Just recently, the Minister of Solid Minerals said that they have, you know, seized even the licenses of many operators. Where is really the problem? And is there a nexus between this mining in Zamfara and the constant attacks in villages around these mining pits?
Does it not remind you of the Democratic Republic of Congo? A country, a community that has never known peace since contact with European powers. Just at the immediately after, in the aftermath of the Berlin Conference. Congo Democratic Republic of Congo has never known peace. And everyone admits, documentary after documentary show that this is one of the richest places on earth in terms of minerals. Minerals that you and I use in every day, in this our conversation. But Congo Democratic Republic has never known anything called peace. It's a miserable part of the earth. And this, to me, is what we are seeing being replicated in Zamfara state. Zamfara, that region of the country, the whole of the northwestern region, it's said to be extremely rich in minerals. There is no coordinated attempt to mine this for the benefit of the country. What we have is that most of the land has been parceled out and given to elites. Most of the licenses for mining have been given out to high-profile Nigerians. From the military era to date, from my investigation, almost all top brass of the military have one license, ex-military and politicians have one mining license or another in some part of the Northwest and especially Zamfara. So they are not being affected. The mining activities are not being affected by the banditry. So you ask yourself, at the least, there must be a correlation between mining and banditry. Perhaps people know what is there. They want to scare farmers away. They want to scare the pastoralists away so that they will have a headache. We hear about vehicles, aerial vehicles, land vehicles moving wealth out of Zamfara state. It reminds me of a recent video we saw of a United Nations aeroplane that crashed in a rural community in the Congo Democratic Republic. And when people came, they found a lot of gold inside. When I saw that, my mind went to Zamfara state. It's not the accident. It's that there is a coordinated attempt to rid those communities of the God-given minerals by nobody other than the elites. Local, national, and international elites. I mean, that aeroplane in the Congo Republic that said UN, I ask myself, is it really UN or painted in UN colors and this? So we come back to Zamfara state. You ask yourself, not that is it happening there? No. To me, the question is it not happening there? And do people have an iota of consciousness to see the impact on the people? Are there no options and alternatives to the exploitation of minerals in Zamfara state? I heard recently the government has banned all existing mineral licenses. And the question that came to my mind, is it for reward to other set of elites? You know, in sociology, we have this idea of recirculation of the elites. One set of elites replacing the other and other and other, going on in a cycle unended. So there is really, there is definitely a correlation, maybe not direct, between the minerals and the banditry.
Okay, you shed more light when we go for the break. We'll be back shortly. Yes, viewers, we'll be back shortly and continue with the conversation. Don't go away.
The famed giant of Africa is battling an identity crisis with severe economic downturn.
We have seen during Shagari, fall of Naira, but Babangida's time was historic. It was unprecedented.
All Nigerians.
The Nigerian economy has been in steady decline. No growth and a sharp drop in production makes matters worse.
The more you push your economy to get integrated into the global market economies, the more you increase the use of dollar.
How did we get here?
We have been working every nook and cranny, running helter-skelter, trying to seek dollar so that we can also meet with the demand of our people.
And the same Nigerians will turn around and say, CBN should supply dollar into the market, or government should supply. Where are you going to supply from?
As the value of the Naira plummets, is obsessive comparison with the dollar helping matters?
Once people believe that the currency cannot retain its value, they find alternative ways of savings.
Why is the Naira on a free fall? And what are the solutions? Journey with us back in time to where it all began.
Welcome back. If you are just joining, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. We still have Professor Tukur Baba, the Dean, Faculty of Social and Management Sciences, Federal University, Birnin Kebbi. He is also the spokesperson of Arewa Consultative Forum. Welcome back to the program, Prof. Now,
thank you.
What should the federal government do to restore law and order, especially in Zamfara, before we move to other states?
No, in my opinion, you cannot have one-off strategy for Zamfara state. This is beyond Zamfara state. What you need is a collaborative effort that involves all the state governors in the Northwest region, on the one hand, and also, I would say, in the Northeast region. You see, the problem is if you solve the problem or if you chase the bandits out of Zamfara, they get into Sokoto, they get into Katsina, they get into Niger, they move on to Kaduna, to Birningwari in Kaduna State and others. So you cannot have it, and you don't have the personnel to be sending troops on what we call hunt and pack. It's like a hunter going to the forest. You hunt an antelope. You carry it on your shoulder and bring it home, and that's all. Tomorrow you go looking for another one. It will not work. It will not work. There has to be a strategy on ground. In fact, I kept saying, we have a strategy to deal with banditry. There has to be a strategy on ground, coordinated and led by the federal government, involving the Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi, Kaduna, Niger State. There has to be one sector. Another sector you need to open is in the north central area, going into the northeast. This boundary is getting to places like Taraba and others. The hills to the south of Jalingo are full of bandits. They are everywhere. Nasarawa State, Plateau State, and others. You work on that. Now, unless you have this coordinated, then to me, I'm not a military strategist as such, but you cannot do that. You cannot just deal with the problem in Zamfara state. It's a regional problem. In fact, you see the concept of Zamfara is from Zamfara region, not Zamfara state. And it's all those areas that are in different states altogether. They are contagious. And then, of course, some of the hiding places, the so-called forests or unoccupied areas, run across all these states and they are linked. So if you don't have a strategy that will be comprehensive, that will involve all the states and not allow the state governors to work on their own, or as we have seen recently, a federal government team going into a state to talk to bandits without the knowledge of the governor. Okay, yeah, the federal government has monopoly of the security forces, but the state governor is the chief executive security officer of the state. There is no way, in my opinion, you can deal with the problem in Zamfara without tackling Katsina State, without tackling Sokoto State, without tackling Kebbi. Go on to Niger. The areas are all contagious. It has to be a national policy. And I would prefer to see the policy, the strategy, compartmentalized. This is the Northwestern, and then not just the geopolitical Northwest. You identify the contagious areas where these things are happening. There is no way you can deal with Zamfara without dealing with Sokoto, without dealing with Katsina. There is no way you can deal with the situation in Niger State without involving the linkage to Kaduna State and then the linkage to other. This is a big problem. And internationally, there is no way you can deal it without collaboration with some of our neighbors. I was very, very concerned when I heard that Niger Republic is withdrawing its troops to the joint multinational task force in the Northeast. And then you come to places in the Northwest, Katsina, Sokoto, Kebbi, have contagious borders with our neighbors. We have so-called closed our border with Niger, but have we closed the footpath that is being used by bandits to flow small arms and light weapons and personnel into our country? I mean, the closure of the border to deal with cookies in Niger is at best a quixotic policy. You just announce it because it will sound sexy. It will sound as if you have arrived, Mr. Big Power in West Africa. It's not working. It's not working. And we are at the short end of the stick. It makes more sense to cooperate with our neighbors. They have their shortcomings, but we also have our shortcomings. We are not an epitome of democracy in any sense of the word. Let's stop pretending about it. What we are practicing is not democracy. You see the whole political shambles all over. Let's cooperate with our neighbors. If your neighbor is not in peace, you shouldn't expect to live in peace. In fact, your neighbor will be a veritable source of threat to you. I think the federal government should stop all this shakara, as we say in Nigerian pidgin English. Let's make peace with our neighbors. Let's stop the flow of arms and people, illegal flow of arms and people across the borders. Our neighbors know everything about who is coming. But if we are not in peace with them, will they stop? No, they will not. So, if the problem is complex, but there are many ways to approach it. And the way to approach it is in a coordinated manner, that one thing is led to another. And of course, we have to address the problem of social inequality. Dividends of democracy are not reaching those areas. The Northwest region, and therefore it's only one state out of them, is one of the most challenging places to live for the poor people, for women and children, and so on. The recent report of the National Bureau of Statistics showed that the Northwest region alone has about 8 million people who are living in poverty. Northwest, the 7 states of the Northwest. This is more than all the 3 zones of the South that have just over 1 million, maybe 7 million. Just Northwest region has 8 million. All the 3 geopolitical zones of the South, Southwest, Southeast, South, they have about 7 million people, children living in the state of poor people. What can you say about that? Unless we deal with that, existential conditions in these areas are very challenging in the best of times. We have to address that because whether we like it or not, this is one of the veritable drivers of the conflict of the banditry. Okay. So we are underdeveloping this area even more, if you see what I mean. Yes. It has to be both kinetic and non-kinetic. This is not rocket science. A lot of analysts have said so. Yes. You cannot solve the problem with boots on the ground. You cannot solve the problems with guns alone. It has to be a combination of good governance, accountability, to the people. Okay. The education system is collapsing in that area. Health is collapsing. I mean, what more? Farming, the rural economy is collapsing. What other evidence do you need that this is a serious problem that you need to sit down and address, and quickly too?
Okay, you spoke about coordination among subnationals with the support of the federal government to succeed. What will you say on Katsina Governor's establishment of Community Watch Corps, where over 1,400 people were recruited and, you know, more than 70 patrol vehicles and 700 motorcycles given to them. And state police has not been approved. Has the governor taken the right decision to have gone this way?
The governors are desperate. This is at best a measure in desperation. This is one attempt. But like I've said, it is okay to do that. But unless there is a coordination, some other states are doing so. What you are doing is you are transferring the problem from one, you are solving the problem in one part and letting it fester in another part, and so on. So it's like the bandits will be playing Russian roulette with you. You are here, they are there. You shoot here, you may and may not get them. Look, we cannot run away from it. Individual governors can take whatever action they want. Do they have the resources? At the same time, these individual governors that have no control over the police and the army are those who are providing the equipment, the welfare services, and so on, the vehicles, you know, and then constitutionally, there is a limit to what they can do. And we have talked of the constitutional lacuna whereby the state governor is the chief security officer, but does not have control over the forces they need to deal with the problem. So yes, the governors can recruit any vigilante they want. They can arm them, they can do anything they want. But unless all of them act together in concert, you know, have a strategy with someone overlooking, I doubt very much if it will work. It's like you are treating one part of the body and leaving the other. In my opinion, it can help in the communities that are close together, in the big towns. Vigilante can protect them. But these things are happening in precisely the villages. This 100 people that we started with, over 100 people, were not picked in one location, were not picked in one village. They go from one village to another and to another and to another. Unless in every settlement, in every village, governors will have a series, will have adequate number, trained and armed, it will not work. These people have intelligence, and those people that supply, I mean, the problem is organic. A lot more people are involved than we think. So it has grown. It's a whole industry. Those that supply them food, those that go and repair their and service their motorcycles, those that provide medical services, those that provide information. I mean, it's a whole industry that has arisen and is supporting this major problem. I hear, in fact, some of them hire the guns, the ammunition. So the purveyors of arms and ammunition. That's why I said you need not just a national, a coordinated and regionalized strategy. You also need collaboration and assistance from our neighbors. So yes, the governors can do that. Yes, the governors can recruit, they can train. But unless contagious states do the same and deal with the problem as it crosses their border, we are not going to see the end of the problem. It doesn't take a lot of thinking to make that conclusion out.
Just yesterday in Borno State, yes, about 11 loggers were beheaded by terrorists.
Yeah.
I recommend that northern governors should come together. Of course, they need the approval of the National Assembly to have a kind of state police. But if you go to the south, they have this community-based vigilante that is reflected across all the 6 states. If you go to the southeast, they also have that. And some people have started attributing the little success, the return of peace in these 2 geopolitical zones to this collaboration by the states. As ACF, are you contemplating maybe advising the governors of northern Nigeria to come together with a kind of method that will be replicated across all the states? Hello, Prof. Hello. It's like we lost the audio. We'll take a short break while we fix the problem.
Welcome to Trust TV, where we document the Nigerian story. Our programming showcases the rich culture and diversity of Nigeria. We strive to amplify the voices that make our nation unique. Our programming is designed to take you on a journey through the different tastes of entertainment in our country. We showcase the best of Nigerian culture, from traditional craft to cutting-edge technology. Our team of expert journalists are dedicated to unveiling the intricacies of our culture and telling the untold stories that binds us all. And let's not forget the food. Nigeria has diverse and flavorful cuisines, some of the favorites to millions across the world. What is Nigeria without its people, their passions and their talent? Trust TV is not just a channel, it's a platform that brings you closer to everything that makes Nigeria great. Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. But sadly, we are unable to link up with Professor Tukur Baba, who joined us via Zoom from Kebbi in Kebbi State. The network has remained poor until this moment, and this compelled us to draw a curtain on the program. We sincerely hope you found the conversation engaging and informative. And be sure to join Daily Politics Live, airing every weekday, and also our special package on Friday, during which we open our telephone line for you to comment on national issues. Once again, our apologies over our inability to say bye-bye to Professor Tukur Baba. Bye-bye for now. I'm Hamza Idris.